Hey everyone, and welcome back to the JJ English Podcast. This is your calm place to learn English through real conversations and real feelings. If you've ever felt stuck with English, today's episode is especially for you. And if you're listening while you're walking, washing dishes, or sitting on the bus, just relax. You don't need to do anything right now, just listen.
Hey everyone, I'm really glad you're here today, because this is one of the most common situations English learners talk about. And honestly, it's one of those problems that can make you feel alone, even though so many people go through it.
And it's a very frustrating one, because you're not starting from zero, you already understand a lot.
Yes, that feeling of understanding almost everything, but not being able to say anything. It's like your brain is working, but your mouth doesn't want to cooperate.
Let me start with a very honest question. Have you ever been in a situation where someone spoke to you in English and you were thinking, okay, I get it, I know what this person means?
And in your head, you understood. You're following the message, you're nodding, and everything makes sense.
Yes, you knew what they were saying. Maybe you even had an answer inside your head.
But when it was your turn to answer, and the other person is waiting,
Nothing came out. Not even a simple sentence.
your mind went blank. And sometimes you can even feel it in your body, like a little freeze.
I've heard this so many times from learners, and it usually comes with a big sigh.
Me too. People tell this story like it happened yesterday.
They say things like, I can watch videos in English, I can understand podcasts, but when I try to speak, my brain just stops, and you can hear how tired they are of this problem.
That sentence right there is very real. Because it's not about knowing nothing, it's about feeling blocked.
And the hardest part isn't just the silence, it's what you say to yourself after.
What?
People start thinking something is wrong with them. They start labeling themselves in a painful way.
Yes. They think, why can I understand but not speak? And they start comparing themselves to other people.
Exactly. And comparison makes it even harder to speak.
Let me tell you something important right away, because I want people to hear this early.
Okay, I'm listening, and I hope the listener is listening too.
This does not mean your English is bad. It doesn't mean you're not good at languages. It doesn't mean you'll never speak.
That's so important to hear, because people jump to the worst conclusion so fast.
It actually means the opposite. If you understand English, your brain already built something strong.
Yeah, if you understand English, your brain is already doing a lot of work. You're catching words, connecting ideas, and keeping up with the speed.
Listening and understanding are big skills, and they take time to build.
Very big. And if you're already there, you're not stuck. You're just in the next step. I remember a moment at work a few years ago. And I remember it clearly because it felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah? What happened?
A colleague asked me a simple question in English, like a normal question, nothing dramatic.
Simple questions are sometimes the hardest, because they come fast and everyone expects a quick answer.
Exactly. I understood every word. No problem with understanding it all.
But
I felt pressure, and suddenly I didn't trust my own voice. I started thinking about how I would sound instead of what I wanted to say.
that pressure changes everything. It turns an easy moment into a scary moment.
It does. My answer was in my head, but I couldn't organize it fast enough. It felt like the words were there, but they were not in order.
So what did you do?
I smiled, paused, and said something much shorter than I wanted to say. And after I spoke, I thought, that's not what I wanted to say.
That's very common. People often say something small, and later they think of the perfect answer.
Later that day, I thought, why was that so hard if I understood everything? And I felt annoyed with myself.
That question comes up a lot, and it's a good question, because the answer is actually simple.
So let's talk about this very calmly. No shame, no drama. Just real life.
Yes, no pressure here, because pressure is part of the problem.
Understanding English and speaking English are not the same skill. They're connected, but they're not twins.
They're connected but different. Listening is like catching a ball. Speaking is like throwing it back.
Think of it like this.
Okay,
Understanding and speaking English are not the same skill.
they're connected but different. Listening is like catching a ball. Speaking is like throwing it back.
Think of it like this.
Okay,
Understanding and speaking English are not the same skill.
when you listen, English comes to you. You can relax a little and receive it.
Your brain receives it. It's like you're decoding and understanding.
But when you speak, you have to create the sentence.
English has to come from you. You have to choose words, build a sentence, and say it out loud.
All at the same time. And you're doing it in a language that is not your first language.
That's a lot. So if you feel slow, that's normal. So if you feel slow when you speak, or if you pause a lot,
That doesn't mean you're bad at English. It means your brain is working in real time.
it means you're learning to use a new skill. And skills need repetition, not punishment. Let me ask you something.
Sure.
Do you remember the first time you had to speak English out loud? Like, really speak, with people listening?
Very clearly. And I remember the feeling more than the words.
Tell me.
I was in a meeting. I understood the discussion, but when someone asked me directly, I felt my body react before my brain even answered.
All eyes on you. That's the part that makes people freeze.
Yes. My heart started beating faster, and I thought, okay, say something. Say anything. And I remember thinking, please let my voice work.
That moment is intense. And it's not because you don't know English. It's because you feel watched.
And the funny thing is, after I spoke, it wasn't perfect. My sentence was not beautiful.
But people understood you. And that's the real win.
Exactly. Nothing bad happened. No one laughed. No one got angry. The meeting just continued.
That's such an important lesson because our fear makes the moment look bigger than it is.
Yes, the fear is usually bigger than the problem. And when you realize that, speaking starts to feel lighter.
A lot of learners think, I need to speak perfectly before I speak at all. And that thought traps them.
But that's impossible, because nobody becomes good at speaking by staying silent.
Because speaking is how you get better. And speaking is how you build confidence, too. Let's slow down and give learners a sentence they can use.
Okay?
I understand English, but I feel nervous when I speak. It's a long sentence, but it's very real.
That's a very honest sentence, and it sounds human, not dramatic.
Let's say it slowly. I understand English, but I feel nervous when I speak.
I understand English, but I feel nervous when I speak.
That sentence already changes something, because when you say it, you stop fighting yourself.
Yes, it removes shame. It replaces I'm bad with I'm nervous.
It explains the situation without blaming yourself, and that's a healthier place to start.
And here's another important point.
Go on.
Most people don't freeze because they don't know English. They freeze because they're afraid of making mistakes. They're afraid of sounding silly.
Yes, the fear shows up before the words. Sometimes the fear is already there even before the conversation starts.
Exactly.
I've heard people say, my grammar is in my head, but I can't use it. That's a painful sentence.
That's very common, because grammar is slow. Grammar wants time.
But conversations are fast, and real life doesn't wait for your grammar. So when you try to think about grammar while speaking, you're doing two jobs at the same time.
Your brain gets overwhelmed, and it's like your brain says, I can't do all of this right now.
And then everything stops, and you feel that blank moment again.
That's why we need a different approach.
Not more rules, not more pressure.
More experience speaking. More small, safe speaking moments.
And that's what we'll talk about in the next part. Not magic tricks, just real things that work.
How to slowly unlock your speaking in a way that feels safe.
Without pressure, without pushing too hard.
and without trying to be perfect, because perfection is the thing that's blocking you.
So, if you're listening right now and thinking, this is exactly how I feel, like, wow, they're describing my life,
Stay with us, because we're going to make this feel lighter.
because you're not broken, you're not hopeless.
You're just at a very normal stage of learning, a stage almost everyone passes through.
So, let's talk about what actually happens in your body when you try to speak English, because this part is very real and people don't talk about it enough.
That's important because it's not just about words, it's about your nervous system too.
Exactly. A lot of people think the problem is vocabulary or grammar, but your body is part of speaking.
But very often, the problem is tension, and tension steals your words.
You feel pressure, and sometimes it's pressure you don't even notice.
Your shoulders get tight, your jaw gets tight,
Your breathing changes. You start breathing higher in your chest.
and your mind starts running very fast. It starts saying things like, don't make a mistake and say it right.
I've seen this so many times at work. People are smart, capable, and still they freeze.
Me too. And it's always the same pattern.
Someone understands the meeting, follows everything, they can even message perfectly in English.
But when they need to speak, they rush. They try to win the moment.
Yes, they try to say everything perfectly and quickly, and speaking becomes a performance.
And that's usually when things fall apart, because nobody performs well when they're nervous.
Exactly, because speaking fast without comfort is very hard, and comfort takes practice.
Even in your own language, when you're nervous, you can forget words in your native language too.
Let me share a small moment that really stayed with me, because it showed me a very simple solution.
Okay.
I was talking to a colleague who understands English very well. They were great at listening.
But doesn't speak much. That's exactly the situation we're talking about.
Yes. One day I asked them a very simple question, something like, how was the client call?
And?
They opened their mouth to answer, and you could see they had the answer in their head.
And stopped. That freeze.
They looked down, smiled, and said, I know what I want to say, but I need a second. And the room got calmer instantly.
That sentence is actually very strong. It's calm, honest, and confident.
Exactly. They didn't panic. They didn't make it a big drama.
They didn't apologize. They didn't say sorry, sorry, sorry.
They just asked for time, and everyone respected it.
And that's something learners forget they can do. You can ask for a second.
Yes, you are allowed to pause. You're allowed to breathe.
You are allowed to think. You don't need to answer in 1 second.
Let's give learners that sentence.
Okay,
I know what I want to say. I just need a second.
that's very natural, and it sounds like real spoken English.
Let's say it slowly. I know what I want to say. I just need a second.
I know what I want to say. I just need a second.
That sentence alone can unlock a lot because it creates space.
Because it removes pressure. It gives your brain time to organize.
Yes, it tells your brain, we're safe. And safety is where words come back.
Another thing I notice is that people try to speak too much at once.
That's a big one. People try to give a perfect speech.
They have a long idea in their head, and they try to say all of it in one perfect sentence. That's very hard in a second language, and honestly, it's not even necessary.
Exactly. So instead, speaking works better when you think in pieces, like little steps.
Small ideas connected naturally. That's how native speakers talk too.
Let me give you an example from my own experience.
Okay,
I wanted to explain a problem at work in English, and I really wanted to sound professional.
and
In my head, it was one long explanation, like a paragraph.
that's dangerous because paragraphs don't come out easily in real time.
So instead of trying to say everything at once, I started like this. The main problem is timing.
Short, clear. You can breathe after that.
Then I paused.
And continued?
Yes, people didn't have enough time to finish.
That works very well. 2 simple ideas, easy to understand.
2 simple sentences instead of one perfect one, and it felt so much easier.
And much easier to say, and also much easier for the listener to follow.
That's something learners can practice.
Breaking ideas into parts, not because your English is weak, but because this is how real speaking works.
But because conversation works that way, it's not a written essay.
Another thing that blocks speaking is trying to translate everything.
Yes, that slows you down a lot, and it makes you feel stuck in your head.
If you translate word for word, you're doing extra work.
Your brain can't keep up. The conversation keeps moving.
I remember when I used to do that.
Translate in your head first?
Yes, I would think in my language, then search for English words, and I would lose the moment.
That takes too much time, and the longer you wait, the more nervous you get.
And while you're translating, you can feel the silence.
The conversation moves on, or the person asks, "Are you okay?"
Exactly. So what helped you stop doing that?
Honestly, using very simple English at first and accepting that simple English is still good English.
That makes sense, because simple English is fast.
I stopped trying to sound smart. That was a big change for me.
That's a big step, because many adults want to sound advanced immediately.
And I started trying to sound clear. Clear is friendly.
Clear beats perfect, every time.
So instead of thinking, how do I say this perfectly, and getting stuck,
You think?
how can I say this simply? And suddenly you can speak.
That question changes everything, because it gives you options.
Let's give learners another helpful sentence.
Okay,
I'll say it simply.
very useful. It's like a reset button.
Let's say it slowly. I'll say it simply.
I'll say it simply.
That sentence alone is like permission.
Permission to use basic English. Permission to take your time.
Permission to sound human, and humans pause.
Another thing I want to mention,
Go ahead.
many learners wait until they feel confident to speak.
Yes, they're waiting for a feeling that often doesn't come first.
But confidence usually comes after speaking. It's a result, not a starting point.
Not before. Confidence is built, not found. I've never met someone who said, "I felt confident, so I started speaking."
Me neither. People usually say the opposite. I started speaking, and then I got more confident.
People speak first, even with mistakes.
And confidence slowly follows, like a quiet friend that arrives later.
That's why small speaking moments matter so much.
Very small moments. Moments that don't feel scary.
Like answering with one sentence, not a speech.
Or even half a sentence. Sometimes, "Yeah, I agree," is enough.
Let me share one more short story.
Okay.
A learner once told me, "I spoke English for 10 seconds today."
10 seconds? That's actually a lot when you're blocked.
Yes, and they were proud because it took courage.
They should be, because those 10 seconds are the beginning.
Because yesterday they spoke 0 seconds, and 0 to 10 is a big change.
That's progress. Real progress.
Exactly.
So if you're listening right now,
And you feel frustrated because you don't speak much, or you feel like you're behind.
remember this.
Speaking a little is still speaking, and it still trains your brain.
And it counts. It always counts.
In the next part,
We'll talk about how to practice speaking safely.
without pressure, without turning speaking into something scary,
Without embarrassment, because you can practice in private first.
and how to build the habit of speaking slowly and naturally, like a daily routine, not a performance.
If you've stayed with us until now,
You're doing something right because you're listening, and listening matters.
because understanding is already there. That's the foundation.
Now we just need to let your voice catch up, and we'll do it gently. So now let's talk about what really helps speaking come back naturally.
Not tricks, not forcing yourself, not trying to push through in a painful way.
But creating situations where speaking feels safe.
That's the key word, safe. Because safety makes your brain open up.
A lot of learners think they need to start speaking in big situations.
Meetings, presentations, long conversations.
And that's usually too much. It's like trying to run before you can walk comfortably.
Yes, that pressure shuts everything down. Even people with good English freeze under pressure.
Speaking gets easier when the situation is small
And familiar.
and low risk.
Exactly. Low-risk speaking is how you build momentum.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Do you ever talk to yourself during the day?
All the time, especially when I'm stressed or trying to remember something.
Me too. Sometimes I talk to myself without even noticing.
Same here, when I'm cooking, walking, or thinking.
That's already speaking. It's your voice doing a job.
And that's something learners forget.
Yes, speaking doesn't always need another person.
It just needs your voice, even a quiet voice.
One thing that helped me a lot was starting to speak English when I was alone.
That makes sense,
I would describe what I was doing.
like a normal thought.
Exactly. I'm making coffee. I need to answer this email. I'm a bit tired today.
Those sentences are simple but powerful.
Yes, because they connect English to your real life.
Not to exercises, not to perfect grammar.
And notice something important.
What?
When you speak alone, there is no pressure to be fast
Or perfect.
or impressive.
You can pause.
You can repeat,
You can change your sentence halfway.
and nothing bad happens. That's the safest place to build your voice. Let's give learners another sentence they can use.
Okay,
I'm just practicing.
that's a great sentence.
Let's say it slowly. I'm just practicing.
I'm just practicing.
That sentence removes pressure instantly.
Because practice is allowed to be messy.
Exactly. Messy practice becomes smooth later. Another safe way to speak more is to react instead of explain.
That's interesting.
Instead of trying to give long answers,
You react with short, natural responses. And reactions are a big part of real conversation.
things like,
That makes sense. I see what you mean. I agree with that.
those sentences are very useful.
And very human. They keep the conversation moving.
I remember when I started using those reactions more.
Yeah?
It made conversations feel lighter.
Because you didn't feel like you had to perform.
Exactly. You're not giving a speech. You're just responding like a person. Let's talk about mistakes for a moment.
That's an important topic.
A lot of people stop speaking because they're afraid of mistakes.
But mistakes are not the real problem.
The real problem is stopping.
Yes. Because when you stop speaking, you stop improving.
And the fear grows.
I made so many mistakes when I started speaking more.
Me too.
Wrong tense, wrong word, strange sentences.
Same here. And do you know what happened?
What?
Most people didn't even notice.
Or they noticed, but they didn't care.
Exactly. People are usually focused on meaning, not on your grammar. People usually care more about understanding than perfection.
Always.
So if your message is clear,
Your English is working.
that's why this sentence is important.
Which one?
They understood me.
That's the real goal.
Let's say it slowly. They understood me.
They understood me.
That sentence means success,
Not perfect grammar.
not perfect pronunciation.
Communication. That's what language is for.
Another thing that really helps speaking is repetition,
But not forced repetition.
natural repetition.
Using the same phrases again and again in real life.
For example, if you often say,
I'm not sure about that.
or let me think for a second.
Those phrases start to feel automatic.
And when phrases become automatic,
Your brain relaxes.
because it doesn't need to search for words, that's how speaking slowly becomes easier.
Not overnight.
But over time,
With patience.
let's imagine the listener right now.
Okay.
They understand English, they follow conversations,
but they still feel blocked when speaking,
So, what's the most important thing to remember?
that they're not broken.
Yes,
They're not bad at speaking.
they're just in transition.
Listening came first.
Speaking is catching up, and that catching up doesn't need force. So, if you want to do one thing today,
Just one.
say one sentence out loud in English. Something like,
I had a long day.
or, I understand more than I can say right now.
That one is very honest.
Okay, this feels like a good place to stop.
Yes, calm and real.
And if you want to practice today,
Say one sentence in English out loud. And if you like learning English this way, come back next time.
bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and have fun learning English.